What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to the Black Tea Podcast. Today, we're diving into a story that is just dripping with red flags. We're talking about the finance bro story, where a seemingly successful and charming man turns out to be a master of deception and manipulation. Get ready to take notes because this story is a masterclass in how not to fall for the okie doke.
If you used to work at Louis Vuitton and one day you was at work minding your business and a man came in and he was clearly a finance bro, very well dressed with a suit on and everything, his little duffel bag, work bag. He was about 6'3" and he was just so charming, so sweet, African. So y'all talking, you're showing him around the store, you're doing your job, right? Then, he proceeds to just keep talking to you and decides he wants to ask for your number. So you give him your number because you're trying to see what's that about, right? He invites you on a date. So you accept the date. The date happens to be in his hotel room on 42nd Street at the Hyatt on the top floor, big suite, like real big suite, real luxurious, real nice. The date goes so well and y'all connect so well that you end up staying with him for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks straight, because you was just like, oh my God, this man is everything. Like, you just thought he was the one. Like, he was literally the one for you. So you have your first date with him. You spend a couple days with him. You go on your second date now. The second date is at one of his favorite Italian restaurants. He takes you, you have a great date, and then he proceeds to have a conversation about how he wants to put $100,000 in your account and how he wants you to use the money to, open up a business or, join partners together. And he said that he has multiple accounts offshore, and he just wants to get the money out, so he needs your help to get the money. So you're just sitting there very delusional, understanding that this does not sound right, but just still sitting there, still trying to understand what he's saying because you really wanted to work with him. Like, you really thought he is just everything. Like, he has a good job at JP Morgan and, he's just a boss. Like, you feeling him. Also, not to mention, on the second date, he took you by Dumbo, Brooklyn, and you guys were walking around and he was telling you that he's going to make an appointment to get one of the penthouses and we were going to live together and live happily ever after. And this was his favorite area because it just has a view over the water, and he was going to get your dream apartment. He kept talking about marriage literally within 2 weeks into, y'all talking, and you just thought like this was the dream. He was sending you personal drivers, not Uber Black Truck, but personal drivers to pick you up from work every single day or to pick you up to go see him. You were just living the life with him. Then a few weeks go by, and then he says that he wants to send you $10,000 just for fun, and you never get the $10,000 to your bank account. So you're just wondering, and then you realize that the check doesn't look so real that he texts you. So when you let that slide, he tells you that he wants to go on a Miami trip with his friends because his friend is having a big yacht party, and his friend is from a big podcast called Earn Your Leisure, and he wants to just make you make you look so good, and he wants you to all his friends to meet you because you're the love of his life and y'all gonna get married one day, whatever. So now you proceed to ask him to buy you an outfit, but he couldn't buy the outfit for whatever reason. So you proceed to buy your own outfit because you're delusional. But you didn't mind because he bought your flight, which was a first class flight to Miami, which was cool. So then when he bought your flight, you said, we need an Airbnb, and he picks a very expensive Airbnb. So he tells you to book the Airbnb and he sends you his credit card, and you're thinking like, ooh, my man's sending, the credit card to me. It's lit. Like, I got a man that's, sending me his credit card. So you go on Airbnb, put the card in. It's an American Express card. And you book the Airbnb that he sent you, which was $5,000 under your name and under your Airbnb account. And it goes through. So you're happy. You're like, oh my God, like, this is going to be the best Miami trip ever because you with the ballers. But then about like a day or two before the trip, you get an email from Airbnb and they're telling you the card you used was fraudulent. So you go back to the card because you're like, you need to step out of this delusion. And he declines that this is nobody else's card. This is his card. But when you look and you zoom in to the name on the card, it was obviously edited. You stopped talking to him because you just was so confused. You could not understand why he was being, just lying, why he couldn't just be his true self and just tell you what he had going on. And you were just nervous about, all the actions that he was saying about money and offshore accounts and all these things. So you just cut him off because it was just too much for you at that point. Now he's in jail serving multiple sentences, multiple years for fraud, card fraud, identity theft, and multiple other things.
So this sister was working at Louis Vuitton, and a well-dressed 6'3" finance bro comes in, and they hit it off. He was charming, sweet, and African, which made her feel a connection. After some conversation, he asks for her number, and she gives it to him because she's curious about where this is going. He invites her on a date, and guess what? The date is at his hotel room on 42nd Street at the Hyatt in a big suite. This is a major red flag, not because hotel dates are inherently bad, but because he is establishing an immediate sense of luxury and extravagance, which is a common tactic used by scammers to impress potential victims. The date goes so well that she ends up spending 2 weeks straight with him. 2 weeks. This is where the love bombing kicks in hard. He's showering her with attention and making her feel like she's found the one. Then, on the second date at an Italian restaurant, he starts talking about how he wants to put $100 in her account to start a business. He claims he has multiple offshore accounts and needs help getting the money out. This is another huge red flag, because legitimate financial transactions don't require these kinds of convoluted schemes. When they start talking about offshore accounts and moving large sums of money, you need to start paying attention to these things. And it gets even crazier. He takes her to Dumbo, Brooklyn, tells her he's going to get a penthouse there, and they'll live together. He's talking about marriage within 2 weeks. This is a classic move by scammers. They create a fantasy future to make the victim feel emotionally invested. He sends personal drivers, not Ubers or Uber Blacks, but personal drivers to pick her. Up from work to go see him, she was definitely living the life, but at what cost? These grand gestures are not genuine displays of affection, but are meant to manipulate and control. A few weeks go by, and he says he wants to send her $10,000 just for fun, but she never gets it. When she looks at the check, it doesn't look real. Then he tells her about a big yacht party in Miami with his friends from a podcast called Earn Your Leisure, and he wants her to come and meet them. This was to impress her by having her meet people that seem to be successful. He tells her to buy an outfit, but he can't pay for it, so she buys her own outfit. He does, however, buy her a first-class flight to Miami. Again, it's the high-end lifestyle trying to impress. He's creating a picture of wealth to build trust, but it is all based on lies. Then comes the big one. He sends her a credit card to book an Airbnb, and the Airbnb is $5,000. She uses the card, it goes through, and she's feeling good. However, a day or two before the trip, she gets an email from Airbnb saying the card was fraudulent. She zooms in on the card, and it's clearly edited. This is when the whole charade crumbles and his mask falls off. The woman then cuts him off. Good for her. The story ends with him in jail, serving multiple sentences for fraud, card fraud, identity theft, and multiple other things. This is a man who made big promises, talked about $100,000, penthouse apartments, and marriage after 2 weeks of dating. It was all a show and all a lie. The key takeaway here is that big talkers who do not back it up with real action are very likely scammers. You need to pay attention when someone is constantly talking about large amounts of money or extravagant lifestyles. Be very, very careful when they talk big and the walking doesn't match. They will hire cars or have friends with cars so that they can look the part. Scammers are very good at creating illusions of wealth and status. It was lucky that the woman got out of that because she could have also ended up in jail for being part of the scam. Be extremely cautious of those who ask you to help them with money transfers. This kind of behavior is never a sign of a healthy relationship, and it often leads to trouble. Thank you for tuning in, family. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Listen to your gut, and don't let anyone rush you into a relationship or financial decision. Share this video, like it, and subscribe for more cautionary tales. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and keep your eyes open.